Got a big presentation coming up? Then you need to hear this video as I talk to Bill Lampton about how to overcome stage fright. Today, your ability to speak in public and communicate your message is really important and can contribute a lot to your success or otherwise in business. And so you want to be able to speak clearly. And one of the biggest fears that people talk about is speaking. And so when I found this book, I wanted to share it with you. There's a book out on the market right now. It's called The 25 Ways to Control Your Stage Fright and Become a Highly Confident Speaker. I've got it right here on my iPad. Matter of fact, using it right now. And not only that, but we have got the author of that book, Dr. Bill Lampton, joining us right now from his offices there in Georgia. Bill, good to have you with us today.
Always a pleasure to be with you, my friend, Dr. Terry Brock. Doc
Well,
Brock.
I really appreciate what you've done with this book. I've read your book. Matter of fact, read it twice and have gone through and really liked it. It's very short, succinct, and it's designed ideally for someone who's got that big presentation come up, that big speech, and you want to do it right away. So I want to, if it's all right with you, I'd like to go through the book and pick out some areas where I have highlighted it and say, okay, please tell us a little bit more what you mean on that and maybe expand on it. Would that be all right?
Let's do that, Terry, please.
And Bill, as you can see, we've got the title of your book there, The 25 Ways to Control Your Stage Fright and Become a Highly Confident Speaker. What I want to do is I'm going to jump over here to a few key places here, going to one location that I found that as I was reading it that gives a lot of good information for what we can do on your 25 ways. I was noticing one of these ways that you have here is number 6. I want to zero in on this one right here. Let me make that a little bit bigger on the screen so everybody can see it. Number 6 down here, don't try to be, now let's see, we've got here P-U-R-R-R-R-R-R-F-F-I, whatever, be perfect. And I love what you said about that. You said, yes, I misspelled perfect intentionally. Tell us about that and why it relates to speaking, that we don't have to be perfect.
Much of the fear that people have, Terry, about presenting to an audience comes from the fact that they think they should not ever make a mistake. I don't know if one of their early speech teachers told them that, but it's totally erroneous. Audiences do not want robots. Audiences want a real live person, and a real live person is going to make mistakes. As a friend of mine once said, they might put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. They might lose their place. They might misstate a fact or have a mistake with their PowerPoint, but that's okay. Just shows we've got a human up there speaking.
Yeah, and I think people like a human being. Do you find that that is today, I'm hearing people want more of a human, more interaction rather than just the staid, perfect speech. Is that what you're finding out today?
Yes, it is. And you and I have talked before, for example, about Facebook Live. Some people would say, why, gosh, it doesn't have all the captions and the musics and the fade-ins and the fade-outs, all the technical, what Terry Brock would call the bells and whistles, doesn't have all that. But what does it have? It has somebody who's just facing the camera and having a conversation with you. And if they slip up, so what?
Yep, exactly. I think that's a very good point. I like what you say about that because it gives us the ability to understand, okay, we don't have to be perfect. What we can be, though, is just genuine and real. Bill, I want to cover what you talk about here in point number 13, change your self-talk. And you talk about what we say to ourselves is very important. To first have a good pep talk with yourself. Tell us a little bit more about that and why that's so important when you're giving a presentation.
It's good, Terry, for us to have coaches. Anyone who wants to improve their speaking, to have a coach. And you've given me some very valuable tips across the years. And as a speech coach, I give tips to people that help them. And yet, maybe the most important tips that we give are the ones that we give ourselves. I know, Terry, that you have made many hundreds of presentations, and I'm quite sure before a presentation, you don't say, this audience won't like me. Gosh, I hardly know my material. Some of them are going to walk out. Why is that person over there looking out the window. No, you gave yourself nothing but positive vibes. And that's what we need to do. We need to be our own cheerleaders.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to watch that. I think they call it the intrapersonal communication, that talk inside of our head. What can we do to silence that critic that might be there going, oh, you're no good, or remember that thing you did back in 6th grade, or, those kind of talk that is in our head. How can we silence that at the appropriate moment?
The best thing is to replace that bad memory with a good memory. The good memory would be a speech that you made recently, which went over very well. And so you tell yourself, get out of here, doubts. I don't need you because I've done this before. I've had good response from the audience, and that's what I'm going to concentrate on.
Bill, I want to cover one here you had toward the end of the book, number 23, Run Towards Speaking Opportunities. I thought this one was particularly good for those people who have spoken before, and those like me, like you, we are professional speakers, and sometimes we can get a little bit rusty when we haven't spoken for a while. You mentioned that here. Please tell us a little bit more about number 23 here, Run Towards Speaking Opportunities.
Stage fright often keeps people not only from seeking opportunities to present to audiences, but it prompts them to say, gosh, I just wouldn't do well with this. I'm so afraid of it, so I'm not going to do it. What happens? That obviously is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because until you time and again get before an audience and see that you can share your ideas clearly and persuasively, until you do that, then the fear is going to linger. So the best thing to do is don't avoid speaking opportunities. In fact, don't run away from them, run towards them.
Yeah, I think that would be very important for building our skills. We can stay on top of it. What would be some areas where you feel the people, and what you've seen with your clients, the people that you work with, coaching them on speeches that they're going to give, where do they get opportunities to practice?
Some people, of course, I think Toastmasters is a popular avenue for some people. They get feedback about their presentations. Civic clubs, every civic club that I've ever been affiliated with has 50 meetings a year that most of them have a presenter. Religious organizations, groups that you volunteer for, there are plenty of places who need and want competent speakers.
Very good point, Bill. I think a lot of people want those competent speakers, and they want someone that is going to be able to give them information that's good. Now, I'm going to close with what you say here in point number 25, which I think is really, really outstanding. What you say. Matter of fact, this is one that I hear it a lot, and I hear people talking about it many times. What we want to do. Matter of fact, this one is one. Here, I want to circle this one and red flag it. Number 25. Speak from the passion in your heart. Speaking from the passion seems to be important today. Tell us why that's important from your perspective as a professional.
Terry, we can have all of the techniques that any competent speech coach or speech instructor would give. We can have our gestures right. We can have our posture and our eye contact, and we can enunciate clearly, have a great voice, be compelling in a lot of ways. But if people don't get the sensation that we are really feeling it, then they're not going to feel it. One expression that you and I have heard sometimes after a speaker has been with an audience, we hear somebody in the audience say, she just phoned it in. That's terrible.
I've seen some of those that they phoned it in, and we don't like that.
No, you don't want to answer, do you?
No, not at all. We just say, well, let that one go to voicemail.
And so recognize that audiences want someone who not just has a written message to share, but they do have a message from the heart. And the speeches, Terry, that you and I have heard across the years, and that anyone has heard across the years that stick with them right now, are those where they felt the emotion of the speaker.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bill, you have helped many people. I know you continue to do this with those lucky few that get a chance to work with you directly. If someone says, hey, I'd like to find out more about the book, and they want to do that, or they want to get in touch with you personally and see what they can do for speeches that are coming up, if you have some gaps in your schedule, what's the best way for them to, first of all, get the book, and secondly, to get in touch with you?
Thank you for asking, Terry. The book, 25 Ways to Control Your Stage Fright, is available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. And I invite people to check my information on my website, that's B-I-Z, bizcommunicationguy.com. And you'll find my telephone number and email there. Would love to talk with you about your interest in becoming a highly confident speaker.
Very good. And let me just kind of reach through the screen there, twist your arm a little bit there. If somebody says, hey, I want to get there right away, what is that phone number in the United States? Of course, if you're calling outside the U.S., it's a +1. And then what is that number within the United States?
Yes, Terry, 678-316-4300.
Dr. Bill Lampton, we appreciate you being here with us. This is a really important topic, and you, sir, are an expert. Have done it not only teaching at the university level, but also helping people in the real world to be able to become better at enunciating, to be better at presenting and doing what they need to do. Thank you very much for being with us today, Bill.
A real privilege to be with you and your viewers. Thank you.
And for those of you joining us, I'm Terry Brock, and I would encourage you to further your career, make it even better by perfecting what you're doing. Even if you're a seasoned speaker and you've done it before, you always want to get better. You always want to improve. Bill Lampton is a guy that's approachable. He's very knowledgeable. He's got a real PhD. He has taught at the university level, and he's available to help you. Get the book and do yourself a favor with that. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm Terry Brock with terrybrock.com, and we'll look forward to hearing from you.